Hello everyone. In the last session we understand what is pivot table, how to create a pivot table, how to enter or remove the sheet, remove the columns we don't need it, and we can customize as the way we want it. And we understood the difference between a normal table and a pivot table. Normal table is not flexible, pivot table is flexible, and we can analyze, calculate, and summarize the data, which help in comparing the pattern and trends in the data. Okay, inserting the pivot table, how we did that? We went to the insert tab, clicked on pivot table, pivot chart, and we selected the range, and if where we want to place it, we did new worksheet or existing worksheet, and we clicked on OK, and the pivot table will automatically come. Okay, now we in this session we'll understand what is filtering pivot table. Pivot table is good function for creating in-depth summarizes for large data sets. There are several methods of filtering data in pivot table. Inserting one or more slicer is the quickest way to filter data in pivot table. Slicers have button that filters the data and stays visible within the data. We'll understand. Let's just go through it once. Let's just read it, and then we'll go through each and every point whichever is given, and we'll understand all the points in the particular part. Using auto filter to apply filters in any field of pivot table row field. These filters can work along with slicer to create a high level filter. Okay. Add filter to the pivot table filter you field. User can create individual pivot table worksheet for each item in filter field. Okay, we can create individual pivot tables. We can slice our big pivot table into small pivot tables, individual pivot tables, which help us in analyzing the data individually if we want to do it in that sense. See, every department, every company has a different set of data, and they have different set of analysis that they have to do. For the same set of data also, there is different analysis in different departments. So we need to understand every function so that if there is anything we can apply throughout. Okay, so let's understand. Okay, so this is the table. We'll go to insert tab, pivot chart. We'll take it to the new, and we can just pivot table so that there's no confusion about it. Okay, so when I click on the chart, pivot chart fields will come. So we'll filter it via country. Okay, we'll put it in excess category. We'll put the segment also. We'll put the product, discount band, and we want sales and the gross sales. We don't need the discount bond, and we need the gross sales. Okay, so can you see how the data is divided? Okay, this has become a little huge. Let's keep it little simple and just remove a lot of things so that there is no confusion left. Okay, so first I'll show it to you how it looks. Okay, so we have segmented as country wise: Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, USA. Correct? And in Canada, there were 5 segments. Similarly, segments. Okay. We have taken the row as row as product. So these are the product, and the data is bifurcated in that way, and the chart is also being created. Okay, so let's understand how to filter the chart. Okay, so when you click on it, analyze, design, and format button will automatically will come. So when we click on analyze, okay, we can make the chart name 1 instead of we write it as practice. Okay, and we can just click on options and we can change it: total, filters, display, printing, dataset, which is not that important. Okay, we can insert slicer as we just discussed in analyze tab. Okay, how that comes? So we have just put the cursor anywhere at a particular moment. When we put the cursor on the chart, three tabs come: analyze, design, and format. So when you go on the analyze tab, there is a button called insert slicer in the filter option. We'll click on that and we'll select segment and we'll click on OK. So this is the slicer. Are you getting it? Small business, mid-market, government, enterprises, and channel partner. Okay, so these are the slicer. We can just with a click of button we can able to check everything. Enterprise, everything with enterprise will come. Sum of sales, sum of gross sales. So these are the slicers. We can just delete it also if you want to. Okay, how we went to: when we select the chart, analyze, and insert slicer, you can add as many slicer as you want, which help us in analyzing with the help of segment or with the help of countries as we choose, as which how we want to segment our how we want to make our chart look better, and from which we can understand the chart instead of keeping so many charts. Also it becomes difficult for someone to analyze because there are so many charts, people can get confused also. And if there is a slicer, we can insert and we can remove. Okay, segment, country, we can just remove and we can click on OK. Okay, insert timeline. Okay, okay, now we'll refresh it. We can change the data source like we discussed. We can change it, we can keep it till manufacturing price, units sold, we can keep it this much data, and we can click on OK. Okay, so this was filter connection, change data source. What we have understood is insert slicer, filter connection, refresh, change data source. Okay, we move the chart from new sheet to another sheet. We can just shift it as where as we want to. Okay, okay, so let's go to design. We can just change the layout of our chart. Okay, we can change the style of our chart. We can select the data. Okay, we can switch row column, which we have done already. We have understood everything. We can change the chart type, we can move the chart, we can fill it, border, text option, text fill, text online, outline, sorry. So these can be done. Formatting, format selection, reset to match style, we can change it to color as we want to. We can increase or decrease the height and the width. Okay, and when we click on anything, every analysis is done in another sheet. Summarize with pivot table. So this is the summarization which is done from the pivot table itself. Suppose you don't have to put a lot of data. Suppose we can just put the segment and the sales, segment, sales, segment, sales. Now we want to know each segment, what is the bifurcation individually. We can just click on the sale and profit, whatever we want to take, and then we can bifurcate as much as we want. And we can check from where that amount come, and we can make our own analysis, and we can make our own chart via slicer, which become easier, which is not time consuming, and it's easy to understand. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to understand. So it is easy to understand.